Welcome to Brass and Bliss. This is Christmas in July. I'm starting off with this paper pad here, and this paper pad is called Snowflake Fun, and I have gone ahead and chosen a few different designer papers from this particular pack. And then there's another paper pack. This is called Holly Jolly, and all of these are going to be released end of July, so they will be available at the store. This is just a sneak peek that I'm doing so that you get to see what is coming in the future. Anyway, I'm also going to use this sentiment stamp here, and this is called This Christmas Set, and there's some beautiful sentiments in this, which is also one of the things that I'm going to use for the card today. This is an older die, and this is called the Foliage Trio die, and I'm going to use one of those leaf cluster for this. And here is the star of today's card, and this is called the Poinsettia Outline Die, and it is just magnificent. It's big, it's large, it has two different parts to cut, and I haven't opened this yet, so we're going to do this together. And this is another new nesting die, which is called Small Scallop with Hole die, and we're going to use that for the background as well. So first, let's go ahead and take this beautiful die out, and I'm going to take the papers that I'm going to use. I just took the inspiration of the colors for the poinsettia from the top cover itself. So I'm using a red the designer paper, and the pink designer paper, and the polka dot designer paper, and green for the leaves, and then also another solid one for the cluster. And here you can see I've gone ahead and die cut everything. You want to keep that particular sheet that I showed you as a template to put the pieces in together. So I've also gone ahead and cut the scallop die as well. Before we start, I just wanted to add a little bit of ink to this pink piece here, just to add some deeper shades or shadows when I go to add the next pieces. And here I'm just going to lay that outline that we cut the die from, and I am going to start filling it up with the pieces that it cuts out. So that would be the positive pieces. But before that, I just wanted to add the glue. So I'm using some foam tapes for this, and I've gone ahead and added those foam tapes to the openings, and then I'm just going to take them and piece this poinsettia using those cutouts. I'm sorry, I'm just coming out of a cold, so my throat is a little bad. And then I'm just continuing to do this. I'm adding some glue. Now, keep in mind, this designer paper, it's a beautiful cardstock heavy designer paper, but the surface is a little glossy, so sometimes it's hard for the foam tape to stick. So it's nice to add a little bit of liquid glue before you add the foam tape, so that everything adheres beautifully. And now you can see I have adhered the inside pieces. Now it's time to take away the top piece. Now you have to be a little careful when you do this, because that outer line, sometimes when you're adding glue, can stick to it. Though I try not to, but sometimes it just happens. So just be careful. Slowly lift a leaf at a time, and it should come out. Now, if you're careful with the glue, obviously you don't have to worry. I mean, you still be careful, but it's much easier. And here you can see how this pretty poinsettia has come together. There was one little glue sticking out, foam tape sticking out. It was bothering me, and you'll see eventually I'll fiddle with it. Now it's time to start laying. You can see I'm fiddling with that. How I would like this composition to be. So I'm just going to play with it for some time, adding those leaves and the cluster of leaves. And once I'm satisfied, I am going to adhere the poinsettia using some foam tape to that scalloped paper that we cut. And you can see how beautiful that designer paper looks against that flower. I just love that paper. It's just so soft and elegant. And then I'm just going to add these leaves, and don't be afraid to use pattern paper to cut your elements, because they just add to the fun part of the card. And I mean, of course, you don't try to see what pieces kind of work with the cards that you make, what colors or what patterns would work for these kind of techniques, paper piecing techniques. And I think this is a great card to make with your kids, because you can really cut them all into pieces and have them just put those pieces of the poinsettia inside as a puzzle, and I'm sure they will have fun. And I also feel like you can make this as a mass-produced card once you have the composition and everything ready, because once you have that, it's all about die cutting. There's really no stamping, coloring, nothing. It's just die cutting, and once you die cut, it's just about adhering it and making them. So really a nice card to make make multiple of easily. And then once I'm done and I'm satisfied, I'm just going to adhere this whole piece to a a top folding white note card using some liquid adhesive. And then once I was done with that, it was time to add the sentiment. Now the sentiment was the only thing where I used a stamp. Oh, but before that, I wanted to use the center. Now the stamp does come with the center pieces. I did not want to use that. I actually wanted to use some pearls in it. I feel like this has a real, like an old vintage feel to it. And I just wanted to keep it that way. So I used pearls for the center of the flowers. And I really went with white pearls. I didn't want to do gold. I just wanted to pull the white in the background onto the flower. And I wanted to add some berries to the cluster. Now that cluster of leaves already has a round berry spot for something, like for a bud or something. I'm going to pretend that that's like a berry tree, like a holly berry, not really a holly, a mistletoe or something like that. And I'm just going to add some of these red drops to create that berries. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take this sentiment, and the sentiment comes from this Christmas set, which is also going to be released in July. And I'm just going to take this labels die, and I've gone ahead and stamped and die cut it using my die cut machine, and I've stamped it using just a simple black ink. And then I'm just going to adhere this entire piece. I did add a little bit of foam tape on one side, which is not on top of the poinsettia. And here you can see the final look of this card. I hope you enjoyed this video, and join us for Christmas in July this month. Bye bye.